Hey, what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? Oh, how's it going? Woo! All right, we are in here. I appreciate you guys being here, especially you guys. Um, Man, I am on some type of little YT slap on the wrist or something. They are not. Something's going on over on the iPortrait Live, and I don't know what it is. Something's going on. So, for all you guys over there, please be active. Please let them know that I should not be hated. I don't know why they hate me so much. Uh, that's the reason. You guys know normally I just do the joint live on Sunday with Ari, but I had to get on and do this today just to try to try to snap it out of place, you know. Yeah, Caroline, I got the tank on today. I need more tank tops. I was actually just like I need more tank. It was 70 something degrees here yesterday. And I think it was like 70, it was like 75 feels like 80 something here yesterday. And it was just a one day thing. It dropped back down. It started going back down today and it's gonna get colder and then it's gonna pop back up like next weekend. But I was like, man, I need new shorts. Oh shoot. I need new shorts. I need tank tops. I need all that stuff. I gotta go. I need to go shopping. I also need to go to the gym. I've been off the gym for like 2 weeks because I got all sick. And so I've been off the gym for like 2 weeks. And I need to get my ass back in. Like for real, for real. It's been like 2 weeks, yeah, 2.5 weeks since I've been off the gym. So we're starting to get tomorrow. We're starting to get to again tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? If not, I'm gonna have to go shopping all over again to get all new clothes. I'm gonna have to go shopping again just to get all new clothes, you know. But hey, it is what it is. Denise, you might want to check your notification settings. That's something that all of you guys should be doing, is checking your notification settings, making sure that I'm actually on your please notify me. Please, social media gods, notify me. Really? I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know how to fix that. Granted, I just got on, so it might have just been a little delayed. You know, I just got a little delayed. I don't know. I'm not really. I'm not really sure. I don't understand. I don't understand. Yeah, I got this shirt. This shirt got given to me. Um, this shirt was given to me like at a. I had gone. First of all, for you guys who have been with me like a long time, you'll know. Um, I do not drink this, and I actually like just the smell of it will like put me out of commission. I hate it. All right. Absolutely hate it. I do not drink this. However, I was just at a gas station one day and they were just giving them out. And this shirt's so old. It was a long time ago and someone was like, "Oh, you want this free tank top?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" And so they just gave it to me. And yeah, I've just had it ever since. Funny, when I actually got it, it was too big for me. so I couldn't really wear it. It was too big for me, and now like we've actually gotten like it was too big for me for like a long time. It actually just sat like in a box, and then I found it. Then it became the right size for me, and now it's getting to the point where it's like almost too small for me. And there's really only one explanation to that, right? There's really only one explanation to that, and that is that the shirt has continually gotten smaller over the years. That's the only possible explanation. Is that every couple years it just shrinks like a size, right? It must be some weird fabric or something that they do. They just like over time, the fabric just shrinks down. It's the only possible explanation. Okay. No, I will not be taking questions. All right, or comments. All right. It's just what happened, and yeah. It was probably the dryer. When Ari moved in, she actually brought her like washer and dryer. So we took mine and put them in storage, and actually took hers, right? And so I just assume that what's probably happening is that her dryer has caused all of my clothes to shrink significantly. And yeah, so I know. So we're just gonna blame Ari, okay? Everyone cool with that? Are we on the same page on that one? We're all just gonna blame Ari's dryer. Yes, lady, I actually have had that problem with my scale also. Yeah, my scale has also been doing crazy things where it just randomly just like says like, oh, you're like you there's more there, the number gets higher, right? And then it just stays at that higher number though, right? Like it just jumps and then it stays. I definitely didn't do anything to affect that. So I'm pretty sure I'm actually the same weight that I was when I graduated high school. Yeah, you're right. Maybe I should start using the dry cleaner on all my clothes. Maybe that'd probably make it more effective. That'd probably be more effective. Is it Ari's scale too? No, I think it might just be an old scale, right? It might just be an old scale. I should probably replace it. I'm pretty sure scales have like expiration dates. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it just expired. Pretty sure it just expired. I have to check the date on it. Batteries might be going. Yeah, batteries might be going in it. There's tons of possibilities it could be. Just tons. So we'll monitor the situation. We'll monitor the situation and see where it goes. Thank you so much, Lindsay. Yeah, we'll monitor the situation and see where it goes. But I think I'm gonna start with probably looking into getting a new dryer and changing the batteries on the scale. Yeah, I think that's probably where I'll start. So yeah, recalls, constant scale recalls. Yeah, it happens all the time. Yeah. Yeah, that's all it is. But anyhow, thank you all so much for being here. Please, as you guys are coming in, especially you guys are in that portrait live, I really need you guys to come in and talk, chat, gift over there. I am trying to break through a little shadow, I think, over there. If you guys know what that is, okay, and know how that works. I think I'm trying to bust through a little shadow over there. So you guys can be super helpful by helping me try to break through that thing. I really appreciate it. Because it's definitely struggling to do anything right now. But that's okay. That's okay. We're gonna keep going on it. Someone said, please do a podcast. I am right on the verge. I am right on the verge. I will be doing a podcast. It will be soon. I just don't know whether soon means I'm starting next week or soon means next month or in a few months. I'm not sure. But it will be soon. And I will be announcing. Make sure you're in my Discord. I'll make sure I announce in there. Kramer, not shallow, it's shadow. Okay. And it's when social media sites stop pushing you out to people. Okay. But do not give you an explanation to why they did that or that they're doing it. And then all of a sudden, all of your numbers start looking really, really low. And it's just seemingly out of nowhere. It happens from time to time. It stinks. It's happened to all creators where we get it for a while, especially on our live streams or videos and stuff. So yeah. And the way we fight through it is by doing really great content and by you guys participating, by you guys being here and hanging around the live, coming in early. All those things help to let the algorithm know, like, hey, it's our little way of, punching back against it. So, but it can get very frustrating from the creator side of things when all of a sudden you go from getting very good push to not getting it anymore. And I'm sure it's something I said or something I did that it didn't like, but of course it won't just tell me that. It has to just push my content down, which sucks. So, but that's okay. We're going to try to get through this. But yes, podcast will be coming. Thank you, Spoon. Thank you, Spoon. But we'll get through this. And yes, the podcast will be coming. I'm actually really excited to start one. I just got to get a little bit more time. To really, I want to make sure that it's the best product that I could possibly give to you guys. And yeah. So, I just want to make sure it's right. When we get there. So, yeah. Besides that, cool. This is not my first one. Just thought I'd let you guys know. It's my first one on the Red app, not on the Clock. The Clock app just loves to do that to me. As often as I breathe. That's most of what it does, honestly. That's most of what it does. I pretty much perpetually live in it. And usually as soon as I get out of it, that's usually when as soon as I get out of it is usually when I just get an actual, like, they actually kick me off. Oh, but man. Yeah, right, Corey? Yeah, I have to switch in between being shadowed and just being completely banned, over there. It's it jumps back and forth. What is that? What's on my screen? What the heck? My monitor's going bad? Oh, that's what that is. Hello. Hello. All right. Yeah, but we'll get through it. We always do. You hear the Europeans said they're going to do an indefinite pause on any trade deals that they had thought about making with the Trump administration? I don't know if you guys heard that or not. It's really funny, though. India also canceled their trade meeting with the United States for later this week. Yeah. In case you're wondering. Yeah, it's pretty funny. They just decided they were like, oh yeah, we're just like not gonna, because like let's be clear, none of these trade deals that Donald Trump had claimed to have made, none of them were ever actually ratified. None of them were actually ratified ever. So there was nothing to hang their hat on. Nothing was actually ever confirmed. Nothing was in writing. Yes, it is a good thing for the United States. Yeah, ding dongs. No. For people like, oh, sorry for you guys. What are you talking about? We already had trade deals with all these countries. We already had great trade deals with all of these countries. We already had them. Our GDP was screaming through the roof. Our trade was freaking flowing. We had huge exports, huge imports. We were literally living in a world market where literally we just had trade flying with every single country on the planet. We didn't need a trade deal. And half the trade deals that Donald Trump was talking about doing weren't even helpful for the United States. They were hurting us. Okay? Why are you happy when bad things happen? It wasn't a bad thing. A lot of Americans might have been helped. Who? I wish this person would call in. Who are you? I wish this person would call in. Of course, they're not going to. But I would love this person to freaking call in. Who would the trade deals have helped? That's what I want to know. Who would it have helped? Just out of curiosity. Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Hi, how old are you?
Uh, 30.
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
Yeah, I'm positive. Sorry, I called you multiple times. I was starting to think that you weren't actually answering people.
Do you think there's a crew behind me to answer phone calls or something?
No, I don't think there's a crew behind you. They answer phone calls.
Okay.
Sorry, you didn't have a hold or anything or a voicemail, so it was very confusing.
Well, there is a voicemail. But anyways, do you still support Trump?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Why is that?
Ugh, because the other option's insane.
The other option is democracy.
We're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic.
We're a what?
Constitutional republic.
All right, awesome. What's a constitutional republic?
Whose states get the pick?
The states get to pick what?
The president.
The
and
states
who
pick the
represents
president.
them.
Awesome. How do the states pick the president?
By voting.
The states vote?
No, but people do in the states vote.
The people in the states vote.
Yeah,
So the people vote for who they want to be president.
exactly.
And what's that called?
That is a democracy, but it's
Good job. That is a
constitutional
democracy.
Hey,
Exactly.
hey,
So when I
hey,
said we're
hey,
a
listen to
democracy,
me.
awesome, sir. So when
Listen to
I
me.
said,
I'm
sir, when I
I'm
said we're a
being
democracy,
I'm
sir,
being very respectful.
no, I'm not being
Okay, so
disrespectful, but I can start being if you want.
no,
Okay, awesome.
I would
So
like
when
to.
I said, sir, that it's a democracy and you told me no, it wasn't a democracy, and now you're explaining a democracy, then how does
No,
that work?
I'm not. Okay, okay. Let me explain it this way. A democracy would be everyone, like, if we had a actual democracy, California, New York, and the big places such as Florida would be the only states that actually matter in voting.
What?
The small states wouldn't get a say if we did it completely. If
That's
we did
about
it
this.
just by who has the most number of votes, that would be retarded.
You mean like every other country on the planet does?
We're also
more
bigger than
success,
most countries.
more
We're
successfully
also
than
bigger than.
we're not bigger than India. We're not bigger than China. We're not bigger than a whole bunch of countries.
Oh yes.
But sir, why does it matter how many people are in your country for direct democracy to work?
Okay, so let's say, for example, in California they have a water problem.
Hold on. Stop. No, you can't. Okay, you said we weren't a democracy, and now you're describing a democracy. Please level that before we move on.
I'm describing it because it went wrong.
You're talking about what would happen if we didn't have an electoral college. That doesn't answer the question. You said we weren't a democracy, and then when I asked you I asked you what kind of system we're in, you described a democracy. Can you please explain that? Level that before we move on.
I'm describing it because it is a democracy and it went wrong.
Gotcha. So when I said it's a democracy and you said we're not a democracy, you knowingly said that. You knowingly said that knowing that we were a democracy.
No, the United States is a constitutional republic.
And what is a constitutional republic?
Are democracies.
No, that's not what it works. That's not how that works, sir. What you're describing is the difference between a direct and an indirect democracy, but they're both democracies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I explain why I don't like it?
No one asked you why you didn't like it. The question was not, do you like democracy? The question was, are we a democracy? Okay? And we are a democracy. We can't get past the part where you just say that we're a democracy in order to get to the part on why you don't like democracy. Okay? But regardless of any of that, none of that has anything to do, zero things to do with why you support Trump.
What? Okay, sorry, we got off subject.
No, you got off subject. Okay, but maybe you need to go someplace and maybe get some coffee or something like that, because you seem to have a hard time yawning. And if I hear you yawn again, I'm just going to hang up the phone because it's a ridiculous thing to be yawning this much during a conversation. Maybe go back to sleep, get a nap.
Okay, I support Trump because I think it's the best option. I like his tariffs, even though the Supreme Court said no. I think it's a good idea. I like border security. I want illegal immigrants out of the states, out of the United States. And I don't much care for people sex trafficking across the border, which they were doing a lot of. And just general, I think most of the stuff he's doing is good. Not all, obviously. Anyone who says all to any politician is a liar.
Cool. So you like Donald Trump's ability to go against the law, because that's what Supreme Court said, is that he does not have the power to do that. So literally he was going against the law. So what you appreciate is Donald Trump doing things against the law. Kind of strange flex, but regardless. Okay. Second of all, okay, you like border security. Well, congratulations. We've always had border security. That's not a Trump thing. We've always had that. So that's not new. That's literally the law, and it's passed by Congress. We've had it longer than I've been alive. Third of all, you don't like sex trafficking across the border. Neither do I, and I don't believe anybody does. But what exactly has Donald Trump done to actually, stop that from happening? Because I haven't seen a single policy initiative that Donald Trump has done to, restrict that in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, I know that you're smart, so I'm going to just assume that you're lying, because the border being secure helps stop sex trafficking.
How has Donald Trump helped to secure the border?
We were in the worst border.
I didn't ask what we were in. I asked what Donald Trump did to help secure the border.
Bills, better enforcement of immigration law over the border.
Awesome. Better of which one?
Better. What do you mean, which one?
Which laws weren't being enforced? Which laws weren't being enforced that are now being enforced?
Letting people in?
Letting people in is not a law.
Yes, actually, it is a law.
Okay, which law?
Yes, you're gonna get me on semantics.
I'm not asking for semantics, sir. You made a positive claim that sex trafficking is reduced because Donald Trump did something about the border. I'm asking you specifically, what did Donald Trump do at the border? I don't see how that's getting you on semantics. All you're saying is just random things. Oh, he secured it. Okay, what did he do to secure it?
Enforce the laws that are on the book.
Which laws?
Okay. No, I cannot give you the specific laws of, Proposition B or something. All I know is the previous administration had a border crisis.
If you can't explain to me what Donald Trump is doing without talking about Biden, then let me give you a little hint. Trump's not doing anything. Okay? If you can't explain to me what Donald Trump is doing without mentioning anything with Biden, then you have no idea what Donald Trump did.
Okay, fine. Okay? I don't need to mention Biden. I can fucking...
You've done it twice already.
Look at the border.
You can look at the border. Awesome. The border. So where do you live at the border where you can look at it all day?
Fucking live streams.
You watch live streams. You watch YouTube to look at the border.
Yes, most of the information that people get are online.
Yeah.
Are you gonna say that's wrong?
Oh no, I'm just saying how often do you talk about how much Bigfoot is real?
Bigfoot's not real. That's nothing.
No. Sorry, I saw it on YouTube. No, I saw it on YouTube. They had videos. So.
Oh, okay. If that's the case, just tell me what the other side did that was so good. Like,
I'm not talking about the other side, sir. Sir, nobody's talking about anything with the other side. I am just simply asking you what Donald Trump did. It's so crazy, okay? It's so crazy that literally just asking like the most simple question is so difficult. And so like it riles you up so much. I am simply asking you a question. Presidents can enact executive orders. They can help move policy, sign policy. They have a whole bunch of authority to do a whole bunch of stuff. And I am simply just asking you what Donald Trump did. And so far you've given me Biden did X, Y, and Z, and he secured the border. You don't have any way of telling me what actually Donald Trump has done to actually secure the border, besides Donald Trump said he secured the border, and apparently a live stream on YouTube.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes. No, I just believe, no, fucking stop. Stop. I'm saying, we had a lot of people coming through the border. Now that he's in office, we don't have that much people coming through the border. The numbers have dropped significantly, like almost to the point of where they're non-existent. Do they still exist? Obviously, that's what yes, but not nearly as much, which in turn actually fucking hurts the cartel. Which, if it hurts the cartel, that means that it hurts their business. And what's their business? Sending drugs and sending sex traffic over.
Okay, perfect.
I'm okay with them being hurt.
Yeah, I'm okay with the cartel being hurt too. But sir, the reason why the numbers are so low at the border is because Donald Trump has stopped almost all legal migration in the United States. That's why they're so low. The significant number of migrants Nope. I'm not asking your opinion, nor am I asking for you to talk in the middle of my sentence.
Sorry. You did a lot to me, but I will shut up.
Cool. Thank you. Now you understand? Perfect. Thank you. Cool. So the first thing that Donald Trump did is he pretty much stopped all asylum seeking in the United States. That is legal migration under Title 8 of U.S. Code. That is how he stopped border encounters significantly from the get-go. But Donald Trump did not do any huge, massive expansion when it came to Border Patrol. He's not filled in gaps in the wall that he was talking about doing. He's not given the Border Patrol, any type of significant increase when it came to, actually being able to hire more people. He hasn't gotten more immigration judges. He hasn't done any of the things that would actually stop the cartel. All he's done is do things that stop people that are coming through ports of entry and people that are trying to come here legally, which is the easiest way for him to do that, because then he can claim that his numbers are way down. And when his numbers are way down, he can now tell you, and you can go, oh, the numbers are way down. See, there actually was significant legislation under the Biden administration that would have done that. It would have actually gave Border Patrol a whole shit ton more money, a whole, more technology, more border wall, more all of that stuff in order to actually combat freaking the cartels. But Donald Trump blocked that. Donald Trump specifically called the Senate and told them not to pass that so that the border remained bad. And not only did he take Border Patrol and not add all of this extra Border Patrol to the southern border, he actually took the Border Patrol, okay, and then moved them to places like Chicago, moved them to places like Minneapolis, moved them away from where the cartel is. All right?
All right.
So how is
Can I
that?
talk now?
How is Customs and Border Protection being in Chicago, being in Minneapolis, being in all these places in the Northeast? How is that stopping the cartel?
Okay. So the way that they were trying to stop people from illegal immigrants getting across the border is to just making them legal, making it more easier to go across the border
Not
if
true.
you got there illegally. If you ask for asylum, you get shipped to the USA. They put them on planes. They put them on planes at night. And having border enforcement go to Chicago to get illegal immigrants out is also how you do it.
Gotcha.
Look.
So you stop people, the cartel, from sex trafficking people from Mexico to the United States by putting people in Chicago.
That's not what I said.
That's some
how
pretty
you stop
impressive
illegal
work.
Immigrants.
That's some pretty impressive work.
That's how you stop illegal immigrants. If you actually enforce the law.
We're not
make it
talking
not
about
work.
undocumented immigrants. We're talking about cartel members because that's what you told
We are
me
talking about
that you
illegal
were
immigrants.
against. No,
We are
we're not.
talking
I don't,
about
sir.
illegal-
Maybe you're in a
We are
different.
talking about
Maybe
illegal
you're in a different conversation than I'm in. Okay, so should I? Hopefully,
No,
I can.
we're not.
Hopefully, I can
Let
bring
me
you
fin-
back.
I let you finish
said
talking. Did
that
I not let you finish?
No, you don't get to finish talking when you're not
You
addressing
interrupted
what.
me.
You're right.
I shut up
You're
and
right.
let you talk.
You're right. I am interrupting
So-
you because you keep answering questions that are not being asked. You are trying to bring up entirely different subjects. This is why we get 10 miles off the fucking point. What you said was, and I will be very, very clear about what you said was, not me. What you said was, you were a big fan of what Donald Trump is doing with Customs and Border Protection to stop the cartel from bringing in drugs and bringing people over through sex trafficking. That is what you are saying. We are not talking about undocumented immigrants. We are talking about cartel members. And I want to know how Customs and Border Protection, being freaking 2,500 miles away from the southern border, is stopping the cartel.
Okay, first of all, we're enforcing law at the border. So you don't need as many.
Gotcha. So
When
the
there
cartel
isn't-
is showing up at the
Hold on,
border
can
and
I
going,
finish talking?
oh,
Please,
gotcha. So
just let me finish talking.
So gotcha. So the cartel is now coming up to the border, trying to bring drugs, trying to sex traffic people. And now the Border Protection's like, we're going to enforce the law now. Now they're like, oh, okay, now we're going to stop doing it. I'm going to let you know this.
Okay.
Hey, the cartel never cared about the law. That's why they're in the cartel. They don't
No
care whether
shit.
we're enforcing the law or not. That's their entire point,
Oh,
is
yes,
to get around
they
us enforcing
do.
the law. Yeah.
Okay. That would be like saying, well, okay, fine. Look, man. We enforce law. It makes it harder for them to get through. Yes, they're going to get around us sometimes, but they're not going to get around us as much as if we didn't enforce the law.
Perfect.
And
And
we
which
weren't
law
enforcing
wasn't
law.
being enforced under the Biden administration? Which law?
Did you not see the border when he was in office?
No, sir. I live in
Did you
Florida.
not
I
see
can't
this?
see it from here. It's a little far.
Okay.
Awesome.
So did
What
you
law
not-
wasn't being enforced?
Did you not look it up? Did you not research it?
I
Did
have
you
done
not hear it over the
insane
news?
amount of research on it, like more research than you could ever dream about dreaming about. I have probably done more research on immigration and the border than you've probably researched probably every subject that you've ever studied. Okay?
Okay.
Which is how
So
I
you have
know,
to-
which is how I know that the words that are coming out of your mouth are complete horse shit. Okay? There
Okay,
was
how-
no
how-
laws, sir. There was no laws under the Biden administration that just weren't being fucking enforced because that's not the way the fucking law works. The president of the United States, or at least every president in the United States prior to the Trump administration, couldn't just say we're going to stop enforcing a law and then we just stop enforcing a law. That's not how this works. Okay, the Biden administration can't say, hey, law that was congressionally passed, that is legislated in the 1970s, that has been law for the last 50 fucking years, I'm just going to stop enforcing it. A, he doesn't have the authority to do that or the power to do that. Okay, and B, why the fuck would he do it? That makes no fucking sense from both getting an elected standpoint for the American people, for anything or anyone ever. It would make 0 points for the Biden administration to go, I am going to stop enforcing laws that's going to help the cartel. That doesn't make any sense. It never happened. There's not a law change. There's not an executive order. There's not an order from the president. There's not a verbal order. None of that stuff exists. There is literally 0 things outside of Donald Trump's mouth and Fox News that says anything about the Biden administration stopping enforcing any laws, which is why I keep asking you what laws were not being enforced, because you don't have any, because it doesn't exist.
Okay, first, I don't watch Fox News. But anyways, regardless, if you let people into the country, you can strengthen any state you want. So, for instance, you know California is a sanctuary state, right?
A sanctuary state does not exist.
You're joking, right?
Nope.
Okay. Well, anyways.
There's sanctuary
California
cities. There's not a sanctuary state. It doesn't exist.
Oh, okay. Fine. City. It doesn't matter for this fucking example. As long as it's in a state that has a lot of... You know that if California were to lose all its illegal immigrants and the census were to be done again, that they would lose power in the Senate because their electoral college would go down?
So would Texas. So would Arizona. Yeah. So would New Mexico. So do a bunch of red states, and so do a bunch of blue states. So the fuck fine. What? Yeah. Anything that California lost, Texas would lose also. Yeah.
Okay.
And by the way, the Senate gets 2 representatives regardless of how many undocumented immigrants are in there. So I don't know what you're talking about. California doesn't get extra from 2.
It gets extra from illegal immigrants.
If every state gets 2, sir, if every state gets 2 representatives,
no, every state does not get 2. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking
you
about
said that you said that in the Senate.
I just said you're right.
I know.
Okay, I'm talking about the electoral college. Okay, it gets more votes because of illegal immigrants in it. And yes, you can say the same thing about Texas, but Texas is actually trying to get rid of them. Unlike California, which is trying to keep them.
What's a sanctuary city? What's a sanctuary city, sir?
It allows illegal immigrants to legally stay there.
Wrong.
Oh, sorry. Illegally stay there.
Wrong.
Okay.
It's not what a sanctuary city is.
What is it?
A sanctuary city just means that the local law enforcement does not cooperate with federal immigration and customs enforcement.
That's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Oh, yes. They just don't enforce it. Therefore, technically, it's still not allowed
no city can
enforce. There.
Technically, no city can enforce the federal immigration. That's why it's federal. No city can enforce that.
They can work with federal. They can work with the federal to help them get illegal immigrants out.
No, what happened was, sir, is prior to the Trump administration, when you would arrest somebody, especially if you're doing a crime, right, which is why you arrest people, if people were found to have been doing crimes, then what would happen was there was a database, and in those cities, they would tag those people as not having documentation for being in this country, and then that database information would go directly to federal law enforcement, and federal law enforcement would then be able to come to that jail to go pick them up before they were let out, right? So it would just give the federal customs enforcement a heads up to say, hey, we have somebody here that you might be interested in. If you'd like to get here before we let them out in 48 hours, you can do that. And then a lot of times they would come down and they would go and find those people. But see, then the Trump administration came in. Then he started doing things like quoting Hitler, talking about how freaking, migrants were were vermin that were poisoning the blood of the United States. Literally quotes out of freaking, Hitler's book, right? They started saying all these things, and all of these cities started going, hey, wait, that guy doesn't sound like he's going to be very humane and a decent person to immigrants. We were okay with you deporting the violent criminals, but what we're not going to do is have you take them and put them in concentration camps. And then the cities stopped doing that. And what we now call that is sanctuary cities. This was something that was very common, okay, both in Democrat and Republicans. Tom Homan, for example, the person that works for Donald Trump right now on these type of things. Right? He worked under the Obama administration for ICE. They worked very, very well, even with places like Minneapolis. Okay? And these sanctuary cities didn't exist. All right? This is why Obama deported more people than Trump and Biden combined. This is the reason why Biden freaking deported, it went down. That's why it went down under Trump. That's why it was higher under even like the Bush administration, stuff like that, because they were actually cooperating. But then you guys put this freaking guy in here who wants to freaking talk about freaking sending people to concentration camps. And then all of a sudden these cities don't want to do it anymore. All right. If you wanted America to be safer by freaking being able to deport criminals, then maybe you should put somebody in there that's an actual human being to undocumented immigrants.
Okay. So, first of all, the cages being built were built under Obama.
Stop trying to change the subject.
No.
Just stop trying to. No. Then respond to what the fuck I said.
Okay, fine.
Hey, Justin Bieber just came out with a new album. Let's just talk about whatever the fuck comes on the top of our head instead of actually engaging in the conversation.
Okay, first of all, you're talking to random people on the internet. I'm sorry that I'm not the best speaker. You do this for a living.
Not the best speaker. All I'm asking you to do is to have a conversation like a fucking human being. No, you're not. I just went off on it.
You don't allow me to
said
finish.
that you
I
said
allow
that
you to, I allow you to talk
you
without
said
interrupting
you don't allow me to do shit. Okay? You said that California was a sanctuary state. That does not exist. Then I explained to you, you said there's sanctuary cities. You didn't know what a sanctuary city is. Then I explained to you in depth. Then I explained to you in depth. No, you didn't. You said, oh, they just allow all the undocumented immigrants to be there. That's not what it means. Were you not even fucking listening to what I said?
No,
I literally explained it to you, and you weren't even listening to the words that came out of my mouth. I was actually explaining it to you, and you still didn't get it. No wonder you can't respond to anything I'm saying, because you're not listening to anything I'm saying.
That is not true. I am listening to what.
No, you're not. I literally just explained to you how what a sanctuary city is, and you did not even fucking listen to a single word that I said. And that's why after I explain it to you so we can address sanctuary cities and actually how they affect the United States, you want to go to Obama put people in cages. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Do you not hear what we're talking about here?
Yes, I hear what you're talking about.
Can you try to focus?
You were trying to say that he put them in concentration camps. I'm trying to tell you that he's been more kind to them than either Biden or Obama was being. Making them follow our laws is not being mean to them. When you arrest a bank robber and put him in jail, you're not being mean by putting him in jail. He broke the law. So getting them out of the United States when they're here illegally is not being mean.
Awesome. What criminal offense is it to be in the United States without documentation?
What are you talking? That's against law.
Okay, which law? Which crime is it?
Coming in here with
being in this country without documentation. What level of crime? Is it a felony? Is it a misdemeanor? What is it?
Doesn't matter what it is. It's against law.
Which one is it? Felony, misdemeanor? There's only two options.
I don't know.
Oh, trick question. It's not either of them because it's a civil offense. It's not even a criminal offense. Being in this country without documentation is not even a criminal offense. It is a civil offense. Okay? So when you talk about a bank robber, robbing a bank is a felony. Okay? That is a felony punishable by prison time for a long time. Kind of like when Donald Trump got his 34 felonies, right?
Oh yes, in New York, you
Yeah.
want to talk about that because
Yeah,
that was
don't commit
complete
crimes in
fucking waste
places
of
that you
time.
don't. How about this? Don't commit crimes in places that you don't want to be held against a jury in those places, because that's the way our law works. If you commit a crime in a place, that's where your jury is at. Sorry about it.
What was this underlying crime?
Sir, I know you want to switch subjects again, okay?
What was this underlying
What
crime?
underlying crime, sir? What underlying crime?
Sorry, what was this
underlying crime? What do you mean by an underlying crime?
What was his crime?
What was his crime?
What was
34
he
counts of
charged
falsifying business records in furtherance of another crime.
Even though the banks that he was working with said, no, he didn't fraud us, we'd like to keep working with him.
Not even
Did
the
you
same
actually-
case. Not
34
even the same case.
You're
That is
fucking lying.
that wasn't even a criminal
The one he
case.
got charged for in
Nope.
New York?
Wrong thing. You're not even on the same thing.
Okay,
Okay.
sorry. Which one are you talking about?
Yeah, the
I
34 felony
apologize.
count, sir. This is why I didn't want you to
That
freaking
was
move
the
over,
one
because
in
you
New
don't
York.
know about this. No, there was multiples in New
30
York, sir. There was a criminal case in New York, and there was a civil case in New York. The civil case in New York had to do with him defrauding banks. The criminal case in New York didn't.
Okay, what was he charged for in New York?
34 counts of falsifying business records in furtherance of another crime.
What was the other crime?
What was the other crime? There was multiples.
Okay,
Campaign
what was
finance laws was the big one.
What- You. All right. Fine, he's a criminal. He's a criminal. So much fun. He got charged.
You know what's
in New
you know what's
York.
really
I'm
funny?
Sure, that wasn't
You know
a bias.
you know what's
Judge.
really funny?
I'm
What's
sure that wasn't a
Yeah.
bias.
Yeah, what I think
At
is
all.
really funny, like what I think is really, really funny, okay, is how the second that we start talking about undocumented migrants, you are like, they got to get out of here. If they did the crime, they got to do the time. They got to go to prison for all of this. When it's literally
I didn't say
hold on,
prison.
hold on,
I did not say prison.
on.
Do not put words in my mouth.
Oh my God, I wish
did not
you would
say
put words
prison.
in your mouth that made sense. I'm going to finish my sentence now. You're like, oh, we have to get them out of here. They're so bad. They can be sent to concentration camps. It's okay. Right? Not a big deal.
I never
When
said
it's
that.
literally a misdemeanor to freaking cross the border illegally, and it's literally a civil offense to be in the United States, with an undocumented status. But when we start to talk about Donald Trump, who's a literal felon, he literally did actual
he's
real life
not.
felonies, like for real, like in this actual world. Okay. Instead of talking about how he needs to be punished for those things, you instead go to defending him. So it's very
Because
obvious that you
those
don't
court-
give a shit. So, sir, it's very obvious that you don't give a shit, okay, about crimes. You only care about when it's a crime that you can relate to either A, non-citizens, or B, to brown people. But when it comes to Donald Trump, then you don't give a flying fuck about crime. When it comes to Donald Trump, you don't give a flying fuck
Holy
about crime.
shit. Did you just... How the fuck... Oh my God, fine, whatever. If you're gonna think I'm racist, you're gonna think I'm racist. That's a fucking lie. I don't care who they are in the United States. If they are here illegally, I want them out because you gotta cross the border legally.
Gotcha. Like Melania
Because
did?
we gotta hold up laws.
Like Melania did?
Melania did not cross the border illegally.
No, but she overstayed her
That's
visa, which means
retarded.
that she was an undocumented immigrant in this country. So maybe we should take her and send her back to wherever she came from, and then she can wait and come back and do things the right way.
Yes, if she overstayed her visa, then yes, let's have her do it the right way.
Cool. Let's do it.
Agreement.
Let's deport her. I wish we had deported her prior to her making her movie so that nobody had to be subjected to that.
I don't care if they overstay their visa. I want people to respect being here. It really hurts. It hurts illegal immigration when illegal immigrants come in. you got to come here legally so we know what state you can go into at the start, so we know which economy you can help out the most and which one will help you out the most.
Sure. Nobody is against people coming here on a documented status. No one. Zero people. Okay. Zero. Everyone's
Not
cool with
true.
that, sir. Everyone's
You
cool with
don't
that. Okay. No,
you
nobody
don't
has an
care
issue
about
with.
you don't care about illegal immigrants coming in.
Of course
And
I
what's
do.
more, then why are you mad about it being enforced?
I'm not mad about
I'm
the border
confused.
being enforced, sir. Donald Trump's not doing that. Donald Trump
That's
is
a lie.
You are saying that I want people to come here legally. First thing Donald Trump did. First thing he did when he got into office was stopped asylum seekers from being able to come to the United States. That is coming here
Yes,
legal,
good.
sir. That is you like that good. Because again, now we're talking about documented immigrants, legal migrants.
Okay.
And you're happy
Okay,
that they were
but-
stopped. So now all of a sudden, you don't want people to come here illegally. You don't want people to do things the right way. You just want nobody to come here. So don't give me that
No.
shit. That was the first thing he
not-
did was he stopped legal migration. The next thing he did is try to overturn the legal status of of millions of people in the United States that came here legally and were in the United States legally. And he went and tried to overturn their legal status. The Cato Institute said that there was 2.5 million people in the United States that were here under a documented status that the Trump administration has overturned their legal authorization to be here since he took office in 2025.
Okay, first of all, we can turn over whoever we want. If they are here, if they came here, and we no longer want them to be here, we can kick them out.
Oh,
If
but
you
people should
invite-
come here legally,
invite-
guys.
If you invite me to your house, and I'm in your house, and I start trashing it, I fully expect you to kick me out of your
Well, sir,
house.
when are you going to leave? Because you're in my house right now, and it sounds like you're trashing it.
I'm not.
If
in
we're
your
using
house.
America as my
We're on
as my house, this is my house, okay? And I don't know what you're doing here. I think you need to leave.
God damn it! Why do you keep interrupting? It's so annoying. Like, I'm trying to get a point across. Like, if you want to say that my point's stupid, yes, go ahead, but at least let me finish talking.
Sir, you are literally saying, in two consecutive sentences, okay? I want you to listen to me, okay? And I'll let you answer, okay? I'll be nice and quiet, okay? You said in two consecutive instances, this is what you said. I am not racist. I want people to be able to come over here, but they have to come here legally. We need to know where you are and where you benefit our economy. I just want people to come here legally. Next sentence, okay? Next sentence. I am happy that people that are coming here legally are not coming to this country. And if you're here legally, we are totally within our right to kick you the fuck out. You said that in two consecutive sentences. Okay? You said, I 100% am okay with people coming into this country as long as it's legally. And the next one, I don't want people coming in this country legally. That is what you said. That is why I cut you off. Okay, because that doesn't make any sense. So I will let you level that. Please explain to me how in two sentences you said, I just want people to come here legally. And second sentence, I don't want people coming here legally.
Okay, let's start with the first one about asylum seekers. Where are people that are coming to the border? Where are they seeking asylum from? Are they seeking asylum from Mexico? Most of the time, they're not. They're seeking asylum for a place that isn't right next to it. If you're wanting asylum, you go to the place that's next to your border. You don't travel all the way to Mexico, then go up to travel there, then ask for asylum here. You ask for asylum at your nearest place that is safe. So, technically, that'd be Mexico, because Mexico's right there, relatively safe if you're not retarded. United States, safe if you're not retarded. Anyways, regardless, now about kicking people out that are here illegally. If you're protesting against our government while you're here. And I don't care who's in office. This doesn't matter if it's Biden, doesn't matter if it's Trump, does not matter. You do not say what our government does because you're here as a guest. You don't come into somebody's house and say, this is how you're going to live. No. So, no, you can't just fucking come here to protest or to protest Palestine or whatever else, Middle Seas or anything like that. You just need to come here and be like, oh, wow, thank you for this opportunity. And do your schoolwork or whatever visa you're coming here for.
All right, I'm over it, sir. The people that he freaking kicked out or was kicking out that were legally here were from places like Haiti and Nicaragua. They weren't protesting for Palestine, sir. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, I'm talking about
Second of all,
a lady that was kicked out for.
Oh, not a lady. I said 2.5 million fucking people, dude. 2.5 million people. Second of all, what law says you have to go to the next available country when seeking asylum? Because it's not U.S. law and it's not international law. What says that?
Okay, so you're seeking asylum and you don't go to the next available country. That's not.
Nope, that's not good. U.S. law. That's not international law.
Okay,
that's nothing.
Then what? How are you seeking asylum? Like you're away from the place that you were at. So why would you fucking keep going? That doesn't make sense.
Because maybe the place that you ended up in isn't safe also?
So yes, we should let everyone in. No borders. Just if they say asylum, we should let them in.
What percentage of people under the Biden administration that sought asylum were actually allowed into the country?
What percent?
Yes.
I'm sure it's a low percent, but how many people were asking?
So a second ago it was, oh, if anybody seeks asylum, we just let them in as if I'm representing that. And now you're saying all of a sudden, oh, well, it was only a low percentage of the people that came in.
It does not matter if it was a low percentage.
Yes, it does.
If there was a lot of people.
It 100% does. It 100% does.
Okay.
Because if it's a low percentage, then it means that we're not letting everyone in just because they sought asylum. That's the whole point, because that's what you just said. Because you said that that's what was happening, and I'm saying that that's not what was happening.
You know how percents work, right?
Very, very clearly.
So even if it was 5% of the people that were asking, and there's a million people fucking coming in, that's still a lot of people. If a million people. Oh my God!
5% of the people that tried to come here legally got in legally. Oh, the horrors! Oh, now
they did not come here legally.
Asylum is here legally. 8 U.S. Code 1158, U.S. asylum law. Coming here to seek asylum is legal. We background check you. We give you documentation in order to stay here under temporary protected status. We give you a court date in order to make sure you show up to prove your status. You are here. You can work. You can pay taxes. You can do all that stuff. Coming here and seeking asylum is legal. No matter how much you try to make it not legal, you can say it all day long. You can keep repeating it. It does not matter. It is still legal.
Okay, fine. It's still legal. There's no point in talking to you because whenever I say something, you immediately interrupt and you're very rude.
And you're very uninformed and have a very, very hard time staying on topic. Okay? It must be very difficult to be this loud and this wrong at the exact same time. Okay, sir. You have not, I don't think, without me having to cut you off and bring you back, I don't think one time have you directly responded to anything that I've said this entire conversation. Okay. But see, I'm here to have conversations with adults. And what I don't like doing is jumping from conversation to conversation to conversation to conversation without ever settling one thing. And that seems to be what you want to do because you just like to jump from talking point to talking point without ever actually freaking coming in and actually discussing any of it. And what I was doing, sir, was bringing you back on topic because you won't stay there on your own. Okay. But it seems like you're a lot more concerned with jumping topics and attempting to yawn than you are with having conversation. So I'm going to move on to the next caller and hopefully you have a better one. Okay.
I hope you have a great day too, sir.
All right. All right, y'all. Please make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. We're going to open up this phone lines and try to keep this thing going. Like I said, please come on in, enjoy the conversation, especially if you're over on that Portrait Live. We need you over there. You guys are rocking over there. I really appreciate you guys. If you guys would like support, I do have super chats, super stickers. I have pay links in the bio. All of those things are all at Polypolitics. So if you like support, I really appreciate that. Beat said, "Oh my God, my dad does this stupid argument too." I'm sorry, Beat. He also said, "All MAGA has is people who think that I think they know what they're talking about. Bentley, watch other people tell them things about it. I should know because that's how I used to be a few years ago." It happens. We all have to progress at some point. Thank you so much, Beat. Sure said this caller is fighting Paulie and the voices in his head. Yeah. The voices in my head keep telling me I'm not. Oh, anyways, thank you so much, Shush. How to Live, thank you so much for the gifted membership. Betty says MAGA man children are now doing nursery rhymes. And Rob said, tell this guy to be quiet. Here's a good idea. If you weren't here before 1776, then you're a guest. Even a lot of people that came after that are still guests. There were still lots of genociding and stuff happening after that. For real. Foxy and Gloria, thank you so much for the princes too. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hello, how are you? Uh-oh. Oh, Honey, thank you so much for the $5 also. I really, really appreciate that. I'll see if I can get that message up too. Thank you so much, Honey. Hello, how are you?
Hey, I just wanted to call and talk to you. I saw that your number was 720, so I thought I would actually be able to bring up a good debate with you.
Are you still a Trump supporter?
Trump supporter? Kind of hard to say. Do I believe in the Republican Party? Yeah.
Okay, well, if you really believe in the Republican Party, then you would be anti-Donald Trump.
But do I support Trump? Kind of on the fence. But I could talk to you about Colorado and talk to you about specific things that he's done here. I'm assuming you, having a 720 number, have been in Colorado?
I do not live in Colorado. No, I can just assign, it's just the area code there, sir. But if you were a real Republican, you wouldn't support Donald Trump. Real Republicans believe in things like fiscal conservatism, non-existent within the Trump administration.
So,
they believe in things like small government,
I'm going to bring
non-existent within the Trump
argument that I
administration.
hope that we could talk about and then, you know, have a civil conversation, because I understand with the last guy, there was a lot of interrupting and stuff, and I'm sorry that
I'm just sorry, sir. I'm trying to talk with Trump supporters, and I'm not sure that you are one. Okay, so if you have a point, what is it?
Yeah, so do you understand and look at the drug epidemic in Colorado specifically?
No, I've been to Colorado twice, to Denver, like on vacation.
Okay, so I'll bring up a couple things with you.
No, sir, I have no will to have this
Colorado,
conversation.
If you don't want to have this.
Okay. I do not wish to have the conversation about specifically Colorado policy. I understand I have a 720 number. I understand, okay, that makes you think that like we're going to have this full. I don't know shit about fucking Colorado. Okay? I don't know shit. You want to talk Florida politics? We can talk a little Florida politics. I'm actually pretty decent at some California politics since I grew up there. I don't know shit about Colorado politics, and I don't have any type of will to have a conversation about it. Consent. Hani said, since most of these YT peeps came to this land as undocumented immigrants and colonized this land, can we kick them out already? Why are they still here? Go back to Europe. Thanks for all you do. Cute puppy too. Thank you so much, Hani. I appreciate that. Hello, how are you?
Okay, how about yourself?
I'm doing good. How old are you?
I am 52.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
I do.
Awesome. Why is that?
I do. I kind of have the thoughts of what he wanted to do. I know it ain't all going to get done, but like like with the tariffs of wanting to bring business back to the United States and knowing, been around and seeing manufacture compared to what we are now is more warehouse, where that would help the blue collar worker.
Yeah. Okay. So no companies were moving to the United States due to Donald Trump's tariffs for the specific reason of what just happened, right? 2 days ago, right? Because no company was going to start moving manufacturing in the United States before they found out whether or not Donald Trump's tariffs were even going to be legal. All right.
I get all that, but I see, I live in where we have industrial parks. Okay. I live in an area like that. And I'm watching all these plants going up. Now, was that him? I don't know. Are they warehouses? Some are bringing some production back. So, like take for instance, and this is a prime example. Blue jeans, Levi's, 100% used to be made in America, 100%. Then the WTO came when we joined the WTO, and no longer made in the United States. So as far as that, unions went down when we turned more to warehouse compared to manufacturing. We're down in unions.
Well, yeah,
As
because
far as
Republicans deregulated a lot of the industry and made it more difficult for unions to be able to come together.
No, hold
But-
on. When you
well, yeah.
deregulate, like to build, that brings business back.
It does not.
Stuff like, I mean, when you start looking at that and start looking at what he was trying to do and what he is trying to do, that's why I support it. Look,
Okay, hold on. Before
Wait,
you
hold on,
start,
hold on.
no,
I
but
was-
you're about to move on to the next thing, and I need to address what you just said. First of all, okay,
Okay.
if warehouses and factories are starting to be built now, it's because they were decided that they were going to be built 3 to 4 years ago, if not more. Okay.
no,
Because-
these are all recent.
It,
They're
it, no,
just
no. What I'm
starting to
saying,
break down.
sir, I'm
And
saying
the
if they're
state I live
breaking
in-
ground now, it's because the decision to break ground happened 3 years ago. Okay.
No, it happened actually last year.
It did.
You want
it-
it-
okay,
want the
then,
truth?
then,
I
then,
mean,
then you're going to have to.
Pennsylvania-
Then you're going to have to tell me which
Pennsylvania
companies so
moved
I can show
to-
you that you're wrong.
Well, I mean, Miracle, that's the construction company that's working out there. Now, I talked to a bunch of them working. A lot of these contracts just got introduced because they go out for bids.
Because that's how
Right.
that's how companies work, sir. In order to build,
Yeah, no,
sir,
I get
when
it.
people
I
project
worked in the
factories,
construction
yeah,
industry.
when people project factories, when large companies project factories and stuff like that, it's about a 4 to 7 year lag between when they say we are going to build a factory in this place to the time that that factory is actually built. It's somewhere between 4 and 7 years down the road. Yeah,
I get-
it's not a decision
I
and then a
get
year
some of
later we
that.
break ground generally. Okay, things like construction bids. You said you used to work at. How long did it take to put out construction bids and for them to actually, for them to actually freaking, take the bid and start running?
Well,
I'm saying, we can prove this. This is not difficult.
Hold on. This is an independent company that's just putting them up because they seen that there was interest of coming back to the United States. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha.
They
So it's a
just
company
started these.
building
They're-
the warehouses preemptively, assuming that things will happen later.
But they're getting filled. They're just starting to get filled. So, like, they have 600 on breaking ground. They built 2, and now they're already filled.
Okay,
Now they're
where's
just
this
putting
at?
them out there. I'm in Pennsylvania, in the northeast part of Pennsylvania.
Okay, continue.
So I mean, that's they're just building them. I mean, so, and they looked at what was happening, so they figured they'd put plants up if they, and as they started them, they see if they filled. As they're filling them, they're going to continue. So they're expanding the industrial park area up by me.
Yeah. Okay.
I
I would have
mean-
to know which companies we're actually talking about, but I have not seen any companies that announced any type of significant warehousing or manufacturing in Northeast Pennsylvania or damn near really anywhere that didn't exist prior to 2025. So
But I mean, that's where I'm getting at. I mean, that's what I look at. I mean, in the 90s, you had 15% union that was in the private sector. Now we're down to 5 to 6%.
yeah, I am a big
And most
supporter
of
of unions. Democrats are generally big supporters of unions.
Yeah,
What does that have
they
to do?
used to be.
what-
I mean,
No, they
hold
still
on.
are.
I'm in rank and file, and what we've seen throughout the years is, what he was talking about wanting to bring manufacturing back, do the AI boom and all that. That's why rank and file went the way it went this last time in the elections. We went and voted Republican, probably for the first time in a long time that we got behind a Republican.
And how's that working out?
We are booming. Our
Who
halls
is?
are empty.
Who is?
Our building and trades, our halls, we can't keep enough people. We're actually looking for more people. Carpenters, electricians, laborers, heavy equipment operators.
Okay.
Our halls are
Well, I
booming.
don't know where you live or what kind of like little like Atlantis bubble that you live in, and I think that's great. If whatever's going on with you is happening, that's awesome. I really appreciate that that's going on across the United States. Okay, that's not happening. Okay, across
Well,
the
I'll
United
put it to you
States,
like-
people like businesses are extremely suffering. They're not expanding. They're not building. We've lost over 1 million jobs. We've lost hundreds of thousands of manufacturing jobs. Okay, unions across the United States are failing right now, especially ones that deal with exports and other things like that. Donald Trump has actually been very vocal and held people like Elon Musk, who have been well known for union busting. Okay. So I'm glad that, if you have this anecdotal experience that's working that we can't prove and that, that is just out there, then I'm happy for you. Okay. I really am. Okay. But that's not the general state of the United States. And it does not have anything to do with Donald Trump's tariffs, because we have completely gone off the rails of what we were talking about, which is Donald Trump's tariffs.
Well, but you asked why I supported him. I'm telling you why.
Yeah, but you're not
It's
really, sir. What you're telling me is that there's warehouses being built, okay? That we don't know who is actually building or like what they're actually being built for, what purpose it is, and if those warehouses or anything were built because of Donald Trump's tariffs or were already happening prior to Donald Trump even coming into office. So we don't know any of that, okay? Like that, we don't know any of that information. And then you're telling me that your specific career field in your specific place, right, is booming, okay? And I think that that's awesome. Okay. But I don't know what that has to do with Donald Trump's tariffs. And that's what I'm trying to relate to, right? If I don't get anything that I can actually like put together and go, oh, okay, well, this is why, right? This is the situation in which we're doing it. Then it's just you telling me stuff. And I really don't have any idea whether the things that you're telling me happened because of Trump or they were already happening and then Trump came in office. And I just have no way of knowing that. So it's impossible to have a conversation about it.
Well, I get that, but I mean, like I said, you asked why, and I'm just explaining the general question you asked. Am I correct?
Yeah, sure. But the point is to be able to have conversations, right? The point is to be able to go, okay, you're saying that this happened and like, that's fine. Okay. But like, again, we don't know whether any of this stuff is because of Donald Trump. You just are saying
right
that it's stuff, right?
And I kind of heard you with the immigration with the caller that you had on before.
Mm-hmm.
You were bringing up that. So why are Democrats behind that?
Why aren't Democrats behind freaking ICE being used as a Gestapo
hold on.
across the United States? Are you kidding me?
No. I'm not asking ICE. I'm asking why are they for immigration? Why are they high on allowing immigration?
They're not.
That's all I'm asking. I don't want to hear about ICE.
Who's saying that they are? What policy has been passed by a Democrat that I'm
not talking policy. When you start talking with all this stuff on ICE, right? And they say all the, but they're protesting them. Why are they protesting ICE going in there to seek out illegal aliens?
Right, because these people are vital parts of our community, and a lot of times have been here for decades. They come here, they try to do things the right way. They work, they boost economies, they become very valuable parts of American society.
Okay, but that's your point. Okay, you're saying that they help the economy, this, that, the other thing, right?
They do.
But who are they? I'm in the construction. That's my livelihood. Yeah. Who are we in competition with then?
Yeah, so construction is one of the very few. It'd be construction.
But you understand where we're standing. Why we stood for Trump then? Because of the illegals. Why people are saying that they're
Donald Trump deported like just over 600,000 undocumented immigrants in 2025. Biden deported 685,000 in 2024.
I get all that, but he let them come across the border too.
He did not.
Border. Come on, you watched the news. You watched all them coming through the border.
No,
They
there was a
weren't
lot of
vested.
people that came to our border and a lot of people that got in, but there is a big difference between a lot of people got in and Biden let a lot of people in.
But they
Okay.
got in. They're not getting in now, are they?
Yeah, they sure are.
The numbers like we were seeing under Biden.
No, because again, Donald Trump has pretty much stopped legal migration.
Right.
Right,
That's
but
all I'm
that's
saying. So
legal
when
migration,
you're in
sir.
the field-
Why are you against
when
legal?
you're-
Why are you against legal migration?
I'm against. Number one, our house prices are out of whack because of illegal immigration.
Incorrect.
All migration. Yeah, they are, because we were 10 million houses short. If you have 15 million undocumented on TDS, all that, now you're short. The houses you were already short adds to it. So that makes the prices of houses go up. Correct? Yes or no?
Sir, we haven't had 15 million undocumented immigrants come in this country in the last 50 years combined.
I bet you there's that many in here.
There's not.
Easy.
Yeah, there's 15
Easy.
million total over the last 50 years.
But that's more than what should be here.
Sir, whether that's more than what there should be there or less than what should be there, you're saying this as if 15 million people came in under Biden, so that's the reason why we have a housing crisis, and that's just simply not true. Okay, we've had a housing problem before freaking Biden got in office, before Trump got in office the first time. We've had a housing problem for a long time in the United States. Okay, and
Not as
yes,
far
it's
as
significantly
prices.
getting worse.
Not
Which,
as far as prices.
yeah, of
We
course, as
haven't
far
had
as
the pri-
prices. Of course, sir. The prices are so high because we had a large swaths of single family houses that were being freaking bought up at a large scale, right, by private or by large corporations, places like
I
BlackRock
agree
and other
there.
stuff like
I'm
that.
not going to fight you there. I agree with that one. But
Yeah.
the housing shortages, we weren't as bad.
Yeah, we were, sir.
Like
we were
are
just
in the last 6
there was
years.
there was a couple of things that hurt the housing process. Okay, one, we had the market crash in 2008, which did that. Then we had then we've had a shortage for like quite a while because it became not financially like beneficial for construction companies to build small single family houses, and made it a lot more beneficial for them to build large houses and condos and stuff like that. So they started building a lot of those things, right? And then Donald Trump's tariffs in his first term, right? Well, especially the tariffs in this term, has made it harder to get lumber and all those sort of things, which is again added to the housing problem. And we've had things like massive inflation that was due to COVID and the shutdown of all sorts of stuff. And on top of that, on top of all of that, right, due to COVID, a lot of people were stuck in their houses. And because people were stuck in their houses, they really wanted to move when they got out, and they saved up a whole bunch of money because they weren't doing anything. So all of a sudden, people had lots of down payments, wanted to upgrade houses, blah, blah, blah,
Well, it
yada,
wasn't
yada,
just
yada.
that. The interest rates were lower, a lot lower.
Well, the interest rates were a lot lower, right? And we had, again, the interest rates raised because of the inflation. That's how it works, right? You use interest rates to slow the economy in order for inflation to stop getting out of control is bad, right? So,
Right.
so that
I
all
get
works
a lot
in.
of that.
But there's a lot of things that have to do with that. I mean, we had like the Fair Housing Act was deregulated in order to allow a lot of the companies like we have right now they're buying up all these housing. So the housing thing is a huge problem. It's been a problem for a long time. But see, here's my biggest problem, sir, is that Kamala Harris, and like I said, you can say whatever you want about Kamala Harris, right? But Kamala Harris actually had a comprehensive plan. One of her biggest policies was to address the housing issue, right? And Donald
How
Trump.
was she going to do that? How was she
Well,
going to do
there
that?
was quite a few.
Explain that.
There was quite a few ways, but let me finish first, okay?
Well,
She did have
give
a
me one of the ways. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, sure, that's fine. And we can get into that if you want to. I have no problem with that, but please let me finish, okay? What I'm saying is that Kamala Harris had a comprehensive plan in order to address the housing issue, and Donald Trump was just asked, like last month, what he was going to do about the housing issue, and what he said is a lot of older like people that own a few houses. If we deal with the housing issue, their housing values are going to go down, so we need to address that. Okay, when Donald Trump was just recently asked about the housing issue, okay, his response was not, we need to help people get into houses. His response was, I'm afraid that people that have all this value in housing are going to lose all of that value. Does that sound like it's something that's actually helpful for your normal everyday American citizens?
Yes and no. And I'll tell you why. Because if they're older, right, and they say they remortgage, they had a remortgage. I got sons that were in college, all right? During COVID, they had it was hard to get financial aid at times because of how schools pushed out. Like if you committed to school in May you had to have what the hell was it that you had to show up? What the hell was it? Because they did it the day before classes started, so then that pushed my son out from getting financial aid. What the hell is it? Where they show up and you get acceptance and all that.
I'm sorry, you lost me, man. I don't know what we're talking about.
Well, no, you're asking. So people actually took mortgages out for what the value was, what they were appraised at, right? If you start knocking prices down, people are going to be over, like a lot of people are with a car. Now you're 10 times in it because it's the value of a house.
Well, that's fine, sir. And I don't disagree with you saying that, but you don't get it both ways. You don't get to make housing more affordable and also keep housing the exact same rate that it's at right now. You have to choose one or the other, right? You
Right.
either can say I want to lower prices of housing, right, in order for people to be able to get in housing easier, so that more people can buy homes. You can either say that, or you can say I want to keep price values high in houses. That way, people hold on to their things, right?
You need to find a way to stall prices. Is what I'm thinking. You need to stall out prices where they are now, because a lot of people that were in debt after COVID, or even during COVID, they remortgaged their houses. Price. I mean, I looked at it. When I purchased my house in 2017, it was valued at $200,000. Now it's valued at $390,000.
Sure, sir.
But there was
If
people
that's
that
what you
went into
believe,
debt.
sir. If that's
and-
what you
and-
believe, that's fine. Okay, but you don't
Okay,
get
are
to
you a
out of the.
homeowner? Are
Yes,
you
I
a
am.
homeowner?
But yes, I am. But you can't say that out of. You can't say it both out of out of each side of your mouth. You can't say, okay, we have a housing problem that we need to address in this country, and we need to fix it, right? And that's why I
get
want
it.
X, Y, and Z. But also, okay, I don't care about the housing problem because people refinanced their homes or took credit out of their homes in order to do X, Y, and Z. And so therefore we need to keep prices the same height. We can't address the housing issue without bringing housing prices down. There's the only way to do it, right? We have to build more houses.
Oh.
If you build more houses, then the prices of housing is going to go down because there's a higher supply within our system, right? And then if you start giving things like down payment assistance and doing other things like that, then more people are going to start buying. Then therefore houses aren't worth as much. Therefore the price of housing is going to go down. You can't do both, right? And that's all I'm saying is if you're going to say like, I think we need to deal with this housing issue, that's fine, but you can't have it both ways, right?
I understand. That's why I said that prices need to kind of like stall where they're at now. I mean, some prices went way out of whack, and I agree there. But some houses are like, I mean, average cost of a house probably right now in certain areas is $500,000-$600,000. Where in certain areas it's $300,000-$400,000, and other areas it's $200,000. We need to kind of stall out the prices where they are now.
The prices are stalled. The price is already stalled. But what's Donald Trump doing to address our housing issue? We're in a stall right now. What's Donald Trump doing to address it? To help people get into houses? What's he doing?
I did see where he did say he wanted to cut out big business being able to buy up houses. I did see that part.
He was the one who. It was his first term when the Fair Housing Act was deregulated. He's not that it wasn't happening before, but he made it easier for him.
Well, I get that. Now he wants to go back to it. So I mean, that's what he.
Cool, I guess. I don't know what to tell you.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, like I'm in the house. I understand what you're saying, but I mean, as far as prices going down or whatever, but prices do. But a lot of it is EPA being able to build houses. There's a lot of hoops that everybody has to jump through.
Yeah, one of the biggest hoops they're having to jump through right now is Donald Trump's tariffs. Because building materials are more expensive due to Donald Trump's tariffs. Yes, that wasn't asking you, dude. That wasn't a question, dude. Like it is straight up the fact that right now, like Donald Trump has been implementing tariffs on places like Canada, where we get a significant amount of our lumber from, which makes the price of building materials more expensive. And therefore,
I haven't seen lumber that much expensive. I haven't seen lumber. I mean, lumber prices are down a lot from 2020.
Lumber prices are down a lot from 2020. You mean like when in the middle of COVID? Yeah, no shit.
Well, I'm just saying, but I haven't seen that big of a price jump because I do stuff. I mean, prices, are they pre-2020? No. But are they a lot less than 2020? Yeah. So.
I don't think that's correct, but I'm going to look it up anyway. Let's see.
I mean, a sheet of plywood was, Christ, $25 in 2020. Now it's under, it's right around
No,
18.
so this is lumber prices. I don't know what I don't see what the chart is actually. Just says lumber prices, historical data in macro trends. And it says right here for the cost of whatever the heck this was. So 2020, March 2020 was like $353. Into 2020 was like $583, I guess. And
Okay.
now it's at like $590.
I mean, 2x4s, when I bought 2x4s in 2020 were like $8. They're down back to $4.
Yeah, this is, if anything, it's higher. If you go to the beginning of 2020, it's actually much higher. If you go to the end of 2020, then I guess it's a little bit lower. Let's see. I can't hit December. Yeah, when we had a spike right there. Then by 2021, it was, I don't know. But regardless, like lumber prices, if you look at them right here, right, like freaking, we have 2024. June 2024 is $467. By January is $565, and now it's $590. So their lumber prices are up since Donald Trump even took office.
Yeah, but I don't know what went up. Like, I don't know what, like, some of it I haven't seen that much of an increase.
Yeah, it's been an increase, but sir, when it's a little increase across a cost of a 2x4, then that goes a long way when it comes to building housing projects.
Well, okay, I'm not going to argue that point. You know, probably right. I don't have numbers in front of me like you're looking at.
I just pulled up on macro trends. I know that it cost me a lot more to build stuff because I need to replace my fence, but regardless, any of that. But anyway, sir, I don't even know where we got to in this conversation. It's not that it's been a bad one right there. I just don't know where we're at anymore. But
well, you just asked, but like, I'm a person that's in building and trades that work with our hands. And as far as when you're going against people that hire illegal immigrants, you know, it's hard, at times it was hard to find work.
Oh, no, and I agree with that, sir. I'm saying I don't agree with companies being able to hire undocumented immigrants. I'm not for undocumented immigration. I am for giving people the ability to come here legally easier, right? And for making the people that are here that are trying to do things the right way to get them a legal status easier. But then when they do that, then they fall under U.S. labor laws. Then companies can hire them. They pay their taxes. You know, they have to make a certain wage, right? I agree with all of those things, right? It's not a matter of we should just let all undocumented immigrants in the country and allow them to work. It's allowing people to come here legally easier. Right. And yes, there's not in the job market with AI coming, there's going to be a lot of white collar workers that are going to end up having to do blue collar worker shit. No, they'll just find new white collar worker stuff.
What's that?
They'll just find new white collar worker stuff.
I don't think there's going to be as much.
There will be.
I don't think so.
No, sir.
You're not going to need all the coders because they're going to write their own codes. You're only going to have
those coders aren't going to start laying cement. Okay, they're just going to they're just going to go find other shit, dude. Like, I'm sorry to let you know, but sir, like you know how many workers the calculator took out and the computer and the internet? It's not like our level of white collar workers went down after that, right? It just continued to go up. Every time there's a new advancement in technology, right? Yeah, they're like right now, coders specifically, you know, are having a hard time because AI bots are, you know, building their own AI bots to make little AI work teams, and you don't need 10 people to code. You might need 2 people to just, you know, check the work of the AI bot. Yeah, that's correct. Okay. But those people are like, those jobs are going to roll into other fields where that AI is now going to create, right? But people don't just go from like white collar to blue collar just because of technology. It just doesn't happen.
No, I just see that there's a lot of blue collar work out there, but nobody wants to do it nowadays.
There's tons of people that want to do it. Right? There's tons of people that work it, but there's also a whole bunch of other blue collar work that you're right, people don't want to do, and that's why migrants are so important, right? because there is, like, especially like within construction industry, and like I said, like I understand, like I can completely empathize with people that work in the construction industry and have, there's a lot of, migrants in that. All right, and I can 100% empathize with you on that, right? Because it's probably harder as a construction worker, right? No doubt, right?
Well,
But
yeah,
we have to look at it also from like the American society, right, as a whole, right? When we have more migrants, and again, I'm talking about legal migrants. I want people to be here legally and be able to work, right, and do all that sort of stuff, right? Be able to pay taxes, right? But yes, when now we have more construction workers. When we have more construction workers, then we can build more things for a cheaper price. We can build more things for a cheaper price, then the American economy booms because it's allowed to progress further, right? So as individual construction workers, it's harder, but America as a whole benefits, right?
Yeah, but then you're talking about wanting to take away from our wages.
I don't want to take away from anybody's wages, sir.
Well, when you start inviting more, like I said, you asked why. I gave you a perfect why building and trades went the way we went and why we still support them the way that we do, is because we're in competition with the illegals, and it affects our bottom line on me making money for my family.
Sir, I promise you that there has not been an immigration like a undocumented immigration freaking, just complete overhaul in the state of Pennsylvania that has significantly changed anything for you. Okay. Like like I said, there has been less undocumented immigrants that were taken out of the country in 2025 than there were in 2024. All right. What you're seeing and what you're saying is happening and what is actually happening are two different things. But regardless, I think we had a good conversation. I'm going to move on to the next caller just because I want to keep the conversation going. But I hope you have a good one. All right.
Yep, you too.
All right. Please make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. We are starting to bust through this shadow just a bit. I think we're getting there. And so we're going to try to keep this thing moving. Lady, thank you so much for the $2. Says, facts sound rude to ignorant or dumb people. I'm pretty sure that was for the caller before, not for that guy. That guy was actually pretty nice. W's in the chat for the last caller. He was actually a nice guy to talk to. Rob, thank you so much for the $5. Said Republicans are actively trying to get rid of unions. Look at the state of Florida. My union is under attack every single year, and they will continue to be because Republicans don't like unions. Cannot stress that enough. Thank you so much, Robs. And state of Florida in the house. Hell yeah. Eric, thank you so much for the cake. I appreciate that. Y'all, if you guys would like to support the live, I do have super chats, super stickers. I have pay links in the bio. They're all at Polypolitics. And I am still working on this first live goal after like an hour and a half. Let's see if we can knock that out over on TikTok. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. Also, let's get this up to about 125,000 likes. We are slacking over here. Manny, thank you so much for the $5. How do I respond to this article to Republicans? The cost of illegal immigration to taxpayers prepared testimony of Stephen A. Camarota. How do I respond to this article to Republicans? I think you're telling me that there was an article that I should look at, and I'll go look at that article, and then I'll bring it up to a Republican, and we'll see what's up. There's a new Cato study too. Is that what it's talking about? Let's see. The cost of illegal immigration to taxpayer. The new Cato study is amazing. Let's see. What's the name of the Cato one? I'll have to look it up. I haven't read it yet. So you guys hook me up. Thank you so much, Manny. I appreciate that. All right, let's open up the phone lines. You guys tell me what the name of that Cato study is. I'll look that up. I haven't seen it yet. Oh, my tattoo is itchy. I need freaking lotion. Hello, how are you? Thanks, Matt.
Can you hear me?
Barely. You sound really far away.
Give me 1 second.
All right, dude, I'm gonna have to move on. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
Hi.
Hi, how old are you? All right, that was weird. I think he just wanted to say hi. Sound like he just wanted to hear my voice over there, which was nice of him. That was nice of him. You can just, if you just want to hear my voice, bud, you can just stay on the live. You don't have to, you don't have to come. You don't have to call in for that. You can just hear that for free. Cato on immigrants reduced deficits by 14.5 trillion since 1994. Oh, that's good.
It's insane.
That's fun. Hello, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, man? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 34.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Yeah, I'm a Trump supporter. He's pissed me off recently, but yeah, overall I am.
Awesome. Why is that?
What'd you say?
Why do you still support Trump?
Okay, so when it comes to immigration, immigration's the number one thing. And the reason I've been pissed off at him is because he's pulled back on the deportations, honestly.
That's funny that you bring that up while I happen to have this wonderful article up.
Yeah, what's the article say?
Every year since 1994, when data collection began, immigrants have paid more in taxes than they received in benefits from the federal, state, and local governments. The fiscal benefits have continued to rise, reaching their highest level ever in 2023. The fiscal surplus from all immigrants from 1994 to 2023 was $14.5 trillion. Compare that with a deficit of $48 trillion without immigrants. That means that immigrants cut deficits by nearly a third in real terms over the last 3 decades.
Okay, so should we just not have any laws restricting illegal immigration then? If it's just going to
Oh,
make
sir,
us
please don't tell me about laws when you support Donald Trump.
Okay, so then what's the argument? Because
The
immigration
argument-
over time has made people richer, therefore we can't restrict illegal immigrants?
Oh, I didn't say we can't restrict undocumented immigrants, but we've done that under every president, so that's not anything special.
Okay, well, under the Biden administration, things got a little bit out of control. I hope you can admit that.
What got out of control, sir?
Record number of border encounters, record number of actually legal and illegal immigrants crossing the border in those 4 years.
Awesome. What's a border encounter?
What's a what?
What's a border encounter?
A border encounter would be an illegal immigrant coming to the border, being turned away.
Gotcha, and that's a bad thing. Why?
What'd you say?
Why is it bad for undocumented immigrants to come to the border and they get turned away?
No, it's not. It's bad when they come across the border.
When they come across
Obviously.
the border?
Yeah, illegal immigrants crossing the border, not great for the country.
Yeah, but you just said it was encounters, so it was people that were inadmissible anyway.
I said 3 things. It was record legal immigration,
Yeah,
record illegal immigration,
yeah.
and then I mentioned the border encounters were at a record high. But the reason I mentioned the record high border encounters,
asking you is why is it bad to have record high border encounters?
the reason I mentioned it is because that's an indicator of how many people got across.
That's an indicator of how many people were stopped.
How many people got across? Different estimates use border encounters when attempting to calculate
It's just
exactly how
one of
many
the many.
illegal immigrants
It's just
crossed
one of
the
the
border.
many things they use.
Yeah, one of the many, but you asked why I mentioned it, and that's why.
Yeah, I still don't know why you mentioned it. So
You just agreed that it was one of the many ways in which you can calculate how many illegal immigrants cross the border.
no, it's one of the ways that they use. One of the things they use to calculate it. But you already talked about the calculations, so I don't know why you brought it up. You said we had a record high in documented immigration. I agreed with you. No questions asked. There was a record high in undocumented immigration. Correct. I'm not disagreeing with you. Also correct. There was a record high in border encounters. Yeah. I don't know why I need that number if you already told me the first 2 numbers.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter unless you dispute that it was record high border encounters.
Again, record high border encounters is a good thing.
Okay, then I guess we're stuck on a point that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Again, that is inadmissibles to the United States. When you see record high border encounters, that just means there's inadmissibles. And all you're really telling me at that is that a lot of people showed up. And in case Biden went down there and told a bunch of people to show up, that's just something that happened due to freaking destabilization of the region, due to COVID, due to all of these things that we had that we already know. Yes,
I know,
a lot more. Sir, I'm almost finished. There was a lot of people that showed up. I don't disagree with that. There's a lot of people that got in illegally. I don't disagree with that. There was a lot of people that got in legally. I don't disagree with that. What I disagree with is that somehow Biden allowed it to happen or made it happen when the Biden administration, A, could not possibly destabilize region, right, by himself. Well, I guess he could, but he didn't, right? So we know why people showed up. The Border Patrol was not equipped to handle it. Joe Biden tried to fix that. Republicans blocked him, right? So like if we had a problem, right, that was not under that Biden could not affect and could not control, he tried to stop it and was blocked by Republicans. Okay, actually, specifically by Donald Trump himself. Donald Trump specifically blocked the bill that would have helped all of this. Then what are we talking about?
Okay, you done?
Yes, I guess
All
you're
right,
not
so yeah,
answering any of the
first off-
questions.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. You just got done talking, so now I'm going to answer them.
Okay.
Okay, so to start where you finished, the border bill that was supposedly blocked by Donald Trump, that bill was a bill that wouldn't even kick in until border encounters surpassed 5,000 in a week. It was going to hire more judges to expand the asylum seekers process. It was something that I didn't agree with, and I'm glad it got blocked.
Gotcha.
And honestly,
first of
when
all,
Trump got into office, he immediately shut the border down, which goes to show that you didn't really necessarily need that to shut the border down.
no, he just shut
Because
down.
Biden did it
He shut
his
down
last
legal.
year.
He shut down legal migration, sir. Nobody gives a fuck unless you're saying you
Okay,
don't
well,
want
we're not
legal
talking
migrants
about
here.
that.
Yes, we are, because if you're
We're not
talking,
talking about
if
that.
you're talking about Donald Trump shutting down the border, he shut down legal migration. That is what he shut down.
And
Okay?
illegal.
No, illegal was already shut the fuck down. Illegal was already shut down because illegal border crossings is already the law. You can't reinforce the
It's
law that's
insane.
already being enforced. You can't do that. Okay.
Listen, you
No.
already conceded that record amount of illegal immigrants crossed under Joe Biden.
And there's still a whole, and
You
it was
conceded
down,
that.
and the record number was already down to below the number of Donald Trump's first term by the time Donald Trump took office.
Okay, just because he, in an emergency situation, fixed it right before the election to try to,
It had been that
fix
way
the
for
fact
almost
that
a
he
year,
shit the
sir.
bed.
It had been that way
Doesn't
for almost
mean
a
that he
year,
didn't shit the bed.
sir.
He still shit the bed.
Sir. It had been going
Yeah.
down for over a year. It had been going down significantly. But again, what was going down was encounters. Okay, the number right now that Donald Trump claims that we have almost no border crossings is he's saying no border encounters. Okay, the reason why we're not having as many border encounters is because asylum is essentially shut down in the United States. Okay, that's what Donald Trump did on the first day. He didn't add border protection agents on the first day. He didn't secure any border. He didn't close, out in between ports of entry. He didn't set up new spots to stop the cartel. All of those things would have happened with the Lankford bill that Donald Trump stopped. Okay, and let's be very clear. You said, oh, it would have taken 5,000 border encounters over a week. Do you know when that means it would have been shut down? It would have stopped everything on the day it was signed because we were already over that average. Okay, so it would have shut everything down. Hold on, sir. It would have shut down everything day one. The reason why the asylum judges were so important was not to expand the asylum process. It was for the people that were already here seeking asylum. That way we could find out whether they had a valid asylum claim in the United States quicker. Instead of people coming in and waiting 5, 6, 7 years. No, don't. Okay.
Let me ask you a
No,
question.
don't ask me
Let me ask
anything
you
in the
a
middle of my sentence. Okay? The reason
All right,
is
go ahead and
because...
finish.
All right. So the reason that the problem is that people are coming here and they're having to wait 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years to get their asylum case freaking done. So during that time, people are under temporary protected status. And what that would have done is said, hey, instead of being here for 5, 6 years, you're going to be here for 6 months before we decide whether you actually have a valid claim. Then why do you have a problem with it, sir? If you know that it would get people that literally didn't have a valid asylum claim in the United States out quicker, then why are you against it?
Okay, I want you to be honest real quick.
And I want you to answer my question.
Okay, all right, first I'll answer your question. Okay, Joe Biden was approving asylum seekers' cases at a clip of over 50%.
That's
Okay,
not
which
true.
was higher than any other administration.
That's not
Even
true.
like because they didn't have a lot of judges, they weren't able to get to a lot of the cases,
That's
so they were only
not
able to see about
true.
10%. So they only accepted 5%, but it's because they only ruled on 10%.
Sir, that is
Okay, that-
nowhere near
Look it up.
anywhere
Look
close.
it up.
Sir, I have. That's how I know you're lying. You think I'm just saying you're lying just out of my fucking
Yeah,
ass?
I
Of course
actually
I
do.
fucking
I
looked it
actually
up,
do.
ding dong.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. Okay,
Yeah,
I
no,
know
it
I'm right,
does
but
matter.
that's fine.
It
That's
does
fine.
matter.
I want you to be
It's
honest.
fine. I'll be more than
I
happy
want you to be
prove-
honest about
no,
something.
and I want you to be quiet. Okay, less than 20% of people, when they actually got to their asylum case, like actually from a judge, actually were granted asylum in the United States. Less than 20%. And Biden,
Under the Biden administration, it was 51%.
it was 61% of people that were given a court date. 61%, sorry, 61% of people
true.
that were turned away, 39% that were given a court date. When they actually got to their court date, less than 20% were actually granted asylum.
That's not true.
It is true. It is unequivocally
Yeah, I've
true,
looked
sir.
at these numbers.
You don't know the difference between being allowed in under temporary protected status for asylum and being actually granted asylum. Those are two different things.
Okay, look, I answered your question. I want you to answer mine.
What question? Besides you just lying.
Okay, because the reason, all right, none of this argument actually matters to you because you don't have a problem with illegal immigrants being here. So what are we really arguing?
Who said I didn't have a problem with that?
I heard you say that, not in the last call, but the call before that,
That's crazy
when
because
you
I
were,
have literally
when you were
never.
verbally mauling that fucking guy, that poor guy.
You mean kind of like what you're doing to my ears right now?
Yeah.
Asylum grant rates in the United States immigration courts have declined significantly, dropping to roughly 12 to 14% in fiscal years 23 and 24. According to
Okay,
U.S.
look up
congressional
the whole
data.
the average under the entire Biden administration,
Gladly.
not just 23 and 24.
Gladly. Not a problem, sir.
But yeah, I want to actually talk about the heart of the issue, is that only one of us actually has an issue with illegal immigrants being here.
Mm-hmm.
You would prefer that they weren't deported.
Mm-hmm.
And I would rather hear you make your case as to why they shouldn't be deported.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that you said if they committed a crime, you seem to be fine with that. But if they didn't, I want to hear your case as to why they should stay.
I'm really not listening to you because I'm just pulling up all the numbers of how you're wrong.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
When you're done doing whatever you do, I want an answer. to that.
It's proving you wrong. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, good luck.
It was already done, sir. You didn't like my numbers, so now you want new numbers because you didn't like the numbers that I already proved to you. That's what it is. I already gave you the numbers, and now you don't like those numbers, so you told me to go back and find new numbers. Okay. And so now I'm finding you new numbers. That's not what you asked for?
Yeah, I'll wait patiently then. But afterwards, I do want that. I want an answer to that question.
Grant rate every single year since 2015 from congress.gov. Grant rate 18%, 2015, 15%, 19%, 20%, 20%, 19%, 16%, 14%, 14%, 12%. The literal grant rate in the United States for asylum cases has not gone above 20.7% in the last 10 years.
All right, if that's right, I'll give you that. Give me a second to double check that.
Or maybe I should just yell at you about oh my God, you should research it like you just yelled at me.
I am.
Yeah. Anyways, what were you going on whining about with other questions but while I was busy proving you wrong? I'm sorry.
There's only one of us whining, buddy.
Yes, and it's you. And I was wondering what you were saying when you were doing it.
I said only one of us have an issue with illegal immigration in the first place. You had said that you don't mind them being here, that you don't want them deported as long as they didn't commit a crime. Is that correct, or am I wrong?
Yeah, I have no problem with people that came here as immigrants because I believe that the only logical way in order for us to fix our immigration problem is to grant some type of mass amnesty, something similar to what the Reagan administration did. I believe that if people have been here for a certain amount of time, they've committed no crime, they're working, they're paying their taxes, they're doing all the things right, that it is much more beneficial to the United States to include them into the United States by doing some type of mass amnesty than it is to try to deport them. It's more expensive to do it that way, and they contribute significantly to our economy.
Okay, so right now we on average accept between 1 million and 2.5 million immigrants per year, depending on the year. Why is that enough? Why is that not enough?
I didn't say that wasn't enough. We're not talking about the people that. Sorry, you're changing the subject, right? You're changing the difference
I'm not.
between. Yes, you are. You're changing the subject from people that are
logic.
already here.
I'm following the logic.
You're changing the subject from people already here to people we are going to let in the future, and those are two different conversations.
No, I'm comparing people that came here outside of the legal process, and we have a number that we as citizens, our elected officials, have decided upon in a democratic process, and everybody that came across illegally is coming in defiance of that democratic process.
Yes, I know,
So
but you don't have to watch the Melania movie, dude. You can just not watch it.
What?
I said if you hate immigrants that much, you can just not watch the Melania movie. You know, it's.
I don't plan on watching that.
No one else.
Point of agreement.
No one else does either.
Yeah. But yes. So if you are saying that illegal immigrants that have come across the border already can stay, and they came across the border in defiance of our democratic process, then you're saying that the amount of immigrants that our democratic process has decided upon isn't enough.
Yeah, so first of all, the overwhelming majority of those migrants didn't come across in defiance of our democratic process. That doesn't even make sense. The amount of
or an overstayed visa. Either way.
Yeah, but those are important distinctions, right? The distinction is not you're trying to make a distinction of fairness, and I'm not making a distinction of fairness. Okay, I am making a distinction as what is best for America, right? What is best for the United States, right? And right now, we have a certain number of immigrants that are already in the country. They're paying taxes. They're paying more in taxes than what they take from our government, right? So they're benefiting our economy.
We can get into that.
No, we're.
But first,
sir. If you want the answer to my question, then you're gonna have to listen to it because that's part of my fucking answer.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you. What I am saying is, sir, is that they are creating a surplus for our economy. They do a whole bunch of jobs that are understaffed in the United States. They help us in construction. They help us in agriculture. They spend a lot of money in taxes. What I'm saying is, sir, instead of paying the cost, right, to try to deport all, upwards of 14 million undocumented immigrants in this country at a significant cost to the American taxpayers, then add in the cost that we would lose by the cost of, by the benefit that they put into our taxes, right? Then it doesn't make any sense, both, about economically on a GDP or any type of stance. It makes more sense to just allow them to stay here and use those resources in order to make sure that people don't come in continually, like by securing up our border. It just makes logical sense that way, right?
Okay. All right. I can appreciate that answer. Hold on one second, sorry. Okay, sorry, my bad. All right, so before we get to the economic issues of it, okay, if you don't enforce a law, what are you doing? You're incentivizing more people to break it. So if the United States says, you know what, if you can make it across the border, as long as you get a job and don't commit a crime, you're fine. Okay? We have 8 billion people on this planet, the majority of whom, if they could get a chance, would come to this country. Okay? Sometimes you can't be so overly empathetic that you screw yourself.
This has nothing to do with empathy. This has nothing to do with empathy or what you just said. You are making an argument. You are making an argument that I'm not making. Okay, I did not say that I support undocumented immigrants staying here out due to empathy. I didn't say that I feel bad for them. I didn't say that, oh, well, they deserve this, which I do believe, right? But that wasn't the argument that I made at all. I also didn't make an argument to say that people in the future should be allowed to come here and break the law and then be granted amnesty. I didn't say that either. I actually said the exact opposite of that. I am saying that from an economic standpoint for the country, it makes more sense to, it's like the old saying, right? Cheaper to keep her, right? When it came to getting divorces. Right? I am literally making a cheaper to keep her fucking argument when it comes to migration, right? It is significantly more financially beneficial for these undocumented migrants to stay here than it is to deport them. Okay? That is the argument that I am making. Okay?
Okay, do you not think so? Do you not think that by not enforcing the law that we are incentivizing people to break it?
Sir, what law is it against in order to be in the country undocumented?
Okay, people always try to bring up this distinction between civil offense and,
Because there's a distinction.
It doesn't really matter because we have laws on the books that you cannot be in the United States without documentation.
We also have laws on the books that say you can't falsify business documents, but you elected him and put him as president.
What'd you say?
I said we also have laws in the books that say you can't falsify business documents, but you guys elected and put him as president. So what? Why is it okay?
The merits of that case.
Why is it
the merits of that case were pretty ridiculous?
See, and there
but
goes
honestly,
the defense.
Even if you want to go that route,
and there goes the
if
defense.
you want me to be consistent, I'll go ahead and say that's fine. That's fine. If you want to condemn Trump for that, that's fine. That doesn't have anything to do with our argument right now.
It does, because you're making appeal to legality while specifically supporting Donald Trump's illegality.
It's a completely different case.
It is not. It's only different because you make it different.
Okay, so payments to Stormy Daniels that weren't put on a campaign expense has nothing to do with mass migration, 15 million people here illegally, and whether or not an entire country is going to enforce its border laws.
Sure. Again, I think that we should enforce. Ridiculous. I think that we should enforce our border better. I've already made that claim probably a half dozen times in this conversation, so I don't know why you keep bringing it up as if I'm not. I have said so many times. I said that I agreed with the Senator Langford bill and the Biden administration that would have added more border patrol, more border agents, which would have made a specific border shutdown immediately. I said I supported all of those things, right? I actually specifically said that after, and I don't know if I've said it in this conversation, but I've said it many times, is that we should take a lot of the financing that's going to ICE that we wouldn't need anymore by creating that mass amnesty and take that money and actually put it towards the border to be able to protect our borders better.
Okay, then if you're conceding that, I want you to admit that if you're comparing Joe Biden, the last Democratic elected president, and Donald Trump, strictly when it comes to border enforcement, Donald Trump has done better, which is what I started out this argument saying.
Absolutely not. They both did shitty. It's the truth. They both did shitty. Just one was put in a situation where there was mass migrants coming due to COVID and due to destabilization of the Northern Triangle, and one wasn't. Okay? Here's pretty much what you're telling me to say. Okay? This is pretty much what you're telling me to say. Okay? I'm gonna give two people, okay, the exact same house, right? And in one house, I'm going to send one person over to that house to try to get in. And that person has to defend that house. And the other house, okay, I'm going to send 1,000 people at that house and they have to defend that house. Okay? And then being like, oh, well, the person who only got sent one person did a better fucking job. Well, I mean, technically, if you want to be technical in the fact, sir, if you want to be technical, you're right. He let less people in, but he only had one person show up. Okay? Biden did shit. I am not a big fan of what Biden did when it came to migration. I think that he should have freaking done a lot more as far as shutting down legal migration earlier, especially when we had the destabilization, right? I think that we should have done that. No questions asked. I think that we could have put in better restrictions when it came to who was allowed in. I think we could have clarified a lot of our asylum law. There's tons of shit that we should have done, right? There's tons of shit that
I'm glad you can say that.
And Donald Trump is just shutting down legal migration. He is scaring people by putting people in concentration camps. He's literally putting infants. No, I'm not holding on for shit. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
I'm getting
chill the
real
fuck out and
tired.
don't talk to me like that.
Well, then stop being
You're
a little
not
bitch.
tough.
Holy shit, dude. I am in the middle of a fucking conversation. Shut the fuck up. See, you asked me to, you literally asked me to be like, oh, come on here and say Biden was this. And then I say they were both shitty. And I'm in the middle of explaining why Biden's shitty and why Trump is shitty. But you only want to hear me talk about why Biden's shitty. And the second that I mention Trump, you want to run your fucking mouth like a bitch, bro. If you want me to answer your fucking question, then don't just listen to the part that you want to fucking hear and then start fucking mouthing off.
You have no idea.
I don't give a shit what you're about to say. What I care about is that you tried to say it in the middle of my fucking sentence.
Okay, well, how long now have we been with you whining and being over emotional?
You know, we've been in 3, 2, 1 too many fucking seconds. Get the fuck off my fucking call. Jesus fucking Christ. What I was going to say is Donald Trump is putting infants in fucking concentration camps. Donald Trump is stopping illegal freaking people from coming over. People that are in fucking danger. Donald Trump has done nothing to address the actual cartel issues that we have. People are still being trafficked. We still have drugs coming over at a freaking alarming rate in between ports of entry. He's done nothing to freaking build a wall or to stop anything that's coming up. He hasn't done anything to build up things like the Coast Guard or like TSA to stop things from coming in from other countries. He's done none of those things to actually address the issue. All he has done is terrorize fucking communities, okay, and fucking stop legal migration. That's all he's done. That's all he's fucking done. And that is not what we need to actually fix the immigration issue in the United States. What we need is actual reform. What we need is actual legislation. And currently, with Donald Trump's administration in office, where they own both the House, the Senate, and the presidency, they have not passed one singular fucking piece of actual immigration policy to help America. All right. Now you can speak. Oh, wait. You're fucking gone. That's right. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Anyways, y'all, please make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. That caller had to get deported. I'm sorry. That is like so annoying. Hey, I'm going to ask you a question about Donald Trump and Joe Biden's immigration policy. I'm going to wait for you to answer on Biden, and then I'm going to cut you off before you can talk about Trump. Shut the fuck up, dude.
It's insane.
Act like a fucking child. Yo, please make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Luis, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Said, I'm from Puerto Rico. The policies that all of the U.S. is facing now are affecting us on the island. I'm sure they are. I'm really sorry to hear that. I didn't make a trip out there. Thank you so much, Luis. W's the chat for Luis. Church, thank you so much for the gifted. Scott said, it's difficult for me being a Canadian to see how people can still support Trump, even though he is an asshole getting bigger every day. Dude, did y'all watch that speech after the fucking Supreme Court told him he couldn't have his little tariffs anymore? That dude is not doing good. He is not doing good. He was holding himself up by the podium the entire fucking time. And he kept repeating something about, he was like, I just wanted to charge $1 in tariffs and they wouldn't let me. They said I could do an embargo and I could shut off tariffs, but I wanted to charge just 1 cent, but they said I couldn't do it. And I could do the embargo, but I just wanted to charge 2 cents. It was that for like 5 whole minutes. It was so, I had to turn it off. Matt says 19% on Kalshi. Yep, exactly. Luis, thank you so much for the $20. And I'm just here to learn and shame my MAGA friends on the island. Puerto Rico in the house. Hell yeah. Thank you so much, Luis. Scott, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate that. Said, I'd be careful kicking Trump's ass. My boots would get all stained and shit. Yeah, you would, yeah. Yeah, he would just shit himself, most likely. Probably just go, ah! Scott, thank you so much for the $5. And MAGA views are from Fox News and yours are proven facts. Yeah. Pretty bad when I can just pull. He's like, you can't prove that. I'll just pull it up, dude. And Ashley, thank you so much for the $5. And might need to break out the tinfoil hat, Pauly. Yeah, for real. For real. Yep. But anyways, y'all, I'm gonna get off live. I've been on for about 2 hours. So it was just perfect timing to fucking call that dude a little bitch before I was gonna get off anyway. But JW, thank you so much for becoming a super fan. I really appreciate that. I will be back on with Ari in probably about an hour. I'm gonna get some food, take Summer for a walk. Probably just about an hour, and I will get back on. I'll be on. If you guys are on my landscape live, I'll be back there because that's where I'll be. But if you guys want, and I'll be live on TikTok too. I think it'll a live. I'll be on. I think I'll be on my stream for TikTok and on my landscape. If you're on the portrait live, either head over to Ari's account or come over to my landscape, one way or the other, and we're gonna do a little dual stream for later on in the evening. We'll probably start in just about an hour. Make sure you guys are in the Discord and check that out. So thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and I will see you guys in about an